What's happening out there, folks? Mitch Smith here, just practicing for church in the morning. And one of the songs we're doing is From the Inside Out. Now, there are a few versions of this. The arrangement that we are probably closest to is the Hillsong Worship version. Okay? Now, there's an opening riff. The chords would be, let's see here. So that's an F, a C, and a G. Now we're in the key of C. Alright, don't let that first F throw you. The key is C because that feels like home, and all those chords belong to the key of C. But now what I want to really talk about in this video is this main riff right here, this little lead lick. Okay, so we said the chords were F, C, and G, right? So if you move an F all the way up the neck, and let's just, for the sake of it, let's just count up. If this is F, now there are no open strings in this chord. So the very next fret would be F sharp, then G, G sharp, A, there on the 5th fret, A sharp, B, C, D, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F. Alright, so we could have just shortcut that by coming to the 13th fret, which is an octave above the 1st fret. Okay? Alright, so think about, let's just break that chord into single notes. We have, okay? And if we make that an F major 7, then we have our first string open, which in this case would make it the 12th fret. So we would have, okay? Kind of hard to get all those fingers in there. But what we're going to do is put this second finger here on the 13th fret, and we're going to bar this note. That's a G right there on the 3rd string, 12th fret. We're going to hammer that on. Okay? Let me turn my delay off for a second. Okay? So if you look at that, those two notes belong in that F chord. And we're just going to kind of create our own echo with this. Okay? And that's hammering on the 12 to 14 on the 3rd string, and then catching the 13 on the 2nd string. Now where does that really nice high note come in? That's going to be the 12th fret E on the 1st string. That's what seems to make it more like a F major 7. Also, by that time, now it is part of our C chord, that open E. So I mean, it's not completely foreign right here. It can make an F major 7 or it's part of the C chord. So, not only are we barring the 12th fret of the 3rd string, we also need to catch the bar on that 1st string too. So now this cramps our fingers up, and if you're like me and you got these little short stubby fingers, it might be hard to get all that in there. So don't be afraid to just sink on into this. If I sink on into it and bar the whole thing, that allows me to get a better bend on these fingers, and I'm not accidentally touching strings that I don't need to touch. My fingers are coming more straight down onto the guitar. So just because these are barred, I'm not playing those. They're not even there. That's just so I can get a comfortable bar and a good bend on those fingers. So, okay. So that just makes an F major 7, basically, is what that does. But it's up here nice and high. And if we have our delay on, and to get the right delay, just get the beat of the song in your head. Da 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 da. And use your tap. Ba, ba, ba. Okay? Alright, now we come to a C chord, then a G. Well, let's use the same technique we used earlier to find that F major 7 all the way up there. Alright, we know this is a D, right? If we back that up 2 frets, and let's just say we're here, in that part of that C chord, now we don't have to use these fingers there because they're open strings, but technically, really, we're just making that little triangle, C, C sharp, D. If we bring it on up, D sharp, E, right? F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C. And again, we could have just skipped up to the 12th fret because we know it's an octave. But you treat these 12th fret notes like the open strings, just like the 1st fret. Okay? And so that's our C chord. So when we add them all together, alright, you hear that? Alright, and lastly we need our G chord. Now, this is the G chord most of us know. A lot of us know the 2-fingered here. You see this called a G5 a lot of times. It's really technically only a G5 if you don't have this finger playing the 3rd of the chord here. If you just allow this finger to mute this string out. See how dense that sounds? And that gives us the root, 5th, root, 5th, root of the chord. So it's not major or minor, it's just a G5. Okay, but that was not necessarily part of this lesson. But we need to know that we're using the G that has that note in it. So that's in it. Our open B string is in it, and our open D. Okay? So all those notes are part of the G chord. If we just bring those up an octave, and we're just going to go straight up to the 12th fret with these. We're just going to take this shape, bring it all the way up here. So it's D, B, G, the 3 notes of the G chord. So we tag that on the end of our riff. Let's put our delay back on. And we don't want this to be real abrasive, so I'm going to turn my tone down just a little, and I'll probably play with my fingers tomorrow. So and something else that I've been playing around with is I'm going to use this tremolo bar to just kind of add some depth to that echo. So listen to this. Now I'm not looking for a big whammy dive, you know, like a... Yeah, I'm not trying to do anything like that. But with all that echo and reverb, this just kind of adds depth. Listen to the sound, listen to the difference if I don't use it. Still nice, still beautiful, but listen when I do use it. Alright? You hear how much depth that adds? because if you think about what's echoing and what's reverbing, if you take those notes and you bend them a little bit, then that bend reverberates and echoes as well. So you thicken the sound that's coming out. It just thickens all that. So check this out. Let's start the song here. Now they won't give me a 4 count, so I just have to jump in the best I can. Alright, and so in the solo to this, I'm probably not going to do exactly what they do. Here it comes. Now the chord progression is... So the chord progression for the solo is really basically the same thing as the chorus. So check this out. It'll be F, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, A minor, 2, 3, 4, G, we're halfway through, F, 2, 3, 4, A minor, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, D minor, and you let that ring out. So what he's doing, a lot of double stops and things up here. Now, sometimes I do my leads note for note as best I can. I mean, I'm certainly not Lincoln Brewster or any of these guys, but I sometimes when it's a really cool solo, I'll try to do it note for note. And this one is, I'm not taking anything from it, but I just feel something a little different on this one, and I am going to take the idea. He's doing a lot of double stops and little hammer-ons that are kindly born from the main riff we just learned. And I've turned my distortion on now. So we're going to do something a little more hard-hitting, right? And what I've noticed about this, the way it ends, those last 2 chords are G and D minor, which would put me going, and then maybe, that's not really what they do. Hold on a second. So service is in the morning, and that is all I really have composed. So a lot of it will be maybe improv. You know, I'm just thinking, what are the chords I'm in? We said it was F, 4 measures, or 4 beats, C, 4 beats, A minor, 4 beats, G, 4 beats. So I'm going to do something with F, C, A minor, which I got the same double stop that I have with A minor as I do with F. Because if you think about that A minor chord and the F chord, those two notes are the same. So I can use that same double stop. And as the bass and the rhythm change underneath, it gives it the flavor that you need. C. Now when I get to the G, I might do something more like this. These three open. You know, something like back to F. And let's just bring it on up this time to a true A minor. Now when we get to that G, I am going to use the way they end the solo with the, makes that add 9. And I'm not even sure what that does to the D minor, but it does make a nice sound. It's just out there a little bit, and so let's just over top of what they're doing here, because I don't have a backing track made for this or anything. So let's just over top of them, see how that sounds. Yeah, that'll work. He actually does have some really cool things going on, so I may work on that a little bit more tonight. He's got some. Yeah, I'm going to try to look for some of that stuff. So hopefully that was helpful to you guys, and I'll be trying to post these weekly. It's part of my practice. The more I post these videos, the better that I get at the song. So, and if I share the knowledge with you, then the world's a better place, right? So, thank you, and we'll see you next time.